Hello, and welcome to my presentation all about PBIS, or Positive Behavioral Interventions and Supports. The first thing I would like to talk about is zero tolerance. Zero tolerance is an approach that refers to school discipline policies and means that there are predetermined consequences to specific student misbehaviors. This is regardless of the context or rationale of the behavior. Although the idea of zero tolerance has been intended to keep kids safe, many people question its effectiveness. It is seen as an ineffective approach to discipline. What are the alternatives to zero tolerance? Some alternatives include taking the discipline on a case-by-case basis and considering the circumstances of the situation. This could also be done by working to prevent the unwanted behavior instead of reacting to the unwanted behavior. Some types of effective behavioral interventions. One example of an effective behavioral intervention would be a multi-tiered system of support, or MTSS. This is a prevention-based framework to improve the outcome for all students, not just those who misbehave. This also can include PBIS, or Positive Behavioral Interventions and Supports, RTI, or Response to Intervention, and another approach to behavior interventions would be restorative justice approaches, social emotional learning and character education, a positive learning environment, and early interventions. Some types of effective reinforcement techniques include positive, negative, punishment, and extinction. Positive reinforcement would be rewarding the student or adding something for the intended behavior. Negative reinforcement would be taking away something to increase the student's positive behavior. Punishment is adding something to decrease the behavior, like adding negative consequences. And extinction is removing something to decrease the unwanted behavior. Limitations of those interventions and techniques. Some limitations would be that it is harder for everyone to follow these consequences. It is not set in stone like the zero tolerance policy that applies to all, and it can be hard to keep track of what is needed to be done in each situation whenever each situation is different. How is behavior handled differently for students with disabilities? Behavior can be handled differently based on who the person who is handling the behavior is working with. If it is a school with a system of support used to prevent and maintain the behaviors, then all students can be treated differently based on the situation. If not, then the students with disabilities will be placed in the appropriate learning environment and will be offered their special education services while expelled or suspended. Thank you for listening and watching my presentation.